inherently soda racist if any Democrat would actually do that. At the same time, consumer packaged goods have histories and
Right.
demographics. Everyone might drink Coca-Cola from time to time, but Diet Coke developed such an association with women that a similar product, Coke Zero, had to be introduced to appeal to men. Marketing can also shift to products associations. In the mid-20th century, Coke and Pepsi were seen by consumers as white and blacks, as a white and black drink, respectively. Now, Sprite is sometimes considered a black soda, even if people of all races also drink it. Dr. Brown soda has origins
My
in
God.
Jewish.
Do I drive a boat with a mouse?
For decades, latte swillers.
Oh, I mean,
at yuppie lefty voters.
At least there's an island,
Roy,
right?
Lord.
Yeah, at least there's an island. Just keep an eye out for anything man-made.
You mean pirate-made.
With the substance of your article.
Sure.
Just assume that the only possible thing they're ever
Oh
going to
my
is
God.
buttons. My favorite one.
How's this gonna
is a good
go?
article. We read this on stream a long time ago.
So
My
maybe
favorite one
Libertalia
was,
is more of a
It's gonna be fine.
small beachside shack.
This gets thrown around so much.
Yeah, maybe it's a tree house.
Or maybe Avery spent his entire fortune setting up this treasure hunt and ran out of money to actually build Libertalia.
Yeah.
3 years ago. But I think that
What if he did
it's been a
run out of
while,
money?
but I'm pretty
And
sure
both
that
of us better
this
find a place to
article
hide.
is just about like all the different people who are part of
All right, where are we going?
election committees, the ballot counters, the vote watchers.
You know, crazy
the
worldwide
everybody to
treasure
try to
hunt
ensure
aside,
that, like, every part of the
Avery
election
had the right
process
idea.
is maintained with
What's
high
that?
integrity. But conservatives will read this headline, and then I've had this happen. People just quote tweet, and then they'll put the image of the article, like, "Oh, well, explain this," because they see shadow campaign, and they assumed it was like a big vote rigging operation. Like people, I've had this article thrown at me like 50, not the article, but like a picture of the headline over and over again. I was like, did you even read this fucking article? Yeah, but so be careful of that.
Did right about Mountain Dew being racist. I hate it here. After posting on
By
Twitter
his
that he was
own
dropping out, we didn't
rules,
hear from Biden for
traveled the
a few
world,
days. People started suspecting that he
made
was
his
dead.
fortune.
People generally thought that
His
DNC took him out behind the shed
sure.
and put him down with a
Apart
road dog.
from
The shoot him in.
huge
Quick,
bounty.
Kill Biden. Phones
Well,
don't even
it
look
all
like
depends on how his
Okay, this
story
is
ends,
really
right?
tricky.
Drop out of the race, but
Who
still,
knows?
president, we have a
Okay.
president who
Maybe
is
in the
too
end it was all
senile
worth
to
All
run for
right.
president. So who is going to run for president? Who is coming to save us? You think you
What's
can
the
tell
point
out
of
the
this?
country?
What's the point of this boat
Just
adventure?
as
I'm a
I
little
predicted
worried.
5 years ago, America might get its first female president because the president stepped down or died.
Nathan, up there.
I don't know if you guys remember,
Nathan,
but Kamala was
up
not
there.
popular at all during the 2019 Democratic primary.
It's
Well,
C.
it definitely
Now,
qualifies
regardless
as
of what you want to
man-made.
say about a candidate's being
Pirate made.
popular or not, or can run for president or not, primaries are a different thing than the general election. It's a totally different thing. I want to say, oh man, is it 12 million or 20 million? The number of people that vote in primaries is, I think it's pretty low. How many people voted in the 2020 primary? Is my number way too low there?
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Ba-da-da.
For the American Democratic
Hello,
Party,
test, test, test. We're testing our
It's a report just every 4
volume.
years that 80% of eligible voters do not participate in some of the most determinative contexts in our democracy, midterm.
About
and
that,
election.
yeah,
Okay, so
that's
these are
pretty
different,
good.
I guess. But like not everybody, like the amount of people that even participate in primaries is lower. A primary is different
Let's
than
find a way
general.
to that tower.
Like, things
Yeah.
change as time goes on. Like yeah.
Opt out before Iowa. She was less popular than Tulsi Gabbard, and people don't like to hear it, but she was literally chosen because of her gender. Like, it's not even a joke. During the debate, when it was Bernie versus Biden, they were asked who they're going to pick as a VP, and Bernie was like, well, it depends if they're progressive and if they're following a progressive agenda, and Biden was like, I vow to get a female VP, and the crowd went nuts. We might have President Kamala Harris because Biden tried to outwoke
Yeah,
Bernie
yeah, yeah,
Sanders.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
Whatever.
So I argue with Dan about this than anything else. It's hard to
Blah, blah.
say if anybody is DEI or affirmative action when the reason why you're picking them is to help you win the contest, right? Like, let's say, for instance, let's say that I want to run for school president, and let's say that I'm in a school with like 99% black people, okay? And I'm the one white guy there because I'm so fucking based and they accept me, okay? Because I recite 8 Mile every single day, okay? Now, let's say I want to run for class president, and we can have class like vice presidents as well. Well, I probably want to choose a black vice president to give me some street cred, okay? So whoever I choose is probably going to be black. It's not going to be the other white guy in class. Now, does that mean that that's a DEI pick? Well, no, because the goal of the election is to win. I'm trying to get the most amount of votes. If I think that having a black VP is
It's a
going to get me
door
the
of
most
some
amount of
kind.
votes, that's not a DEI pick
Covering
by
a
definition. That's like the
chamber?
most important thing I'm choosing
Massive
for.
chamber.
So if Biden
Yes.
felt like having a
Massive
black
chamber.
VP
Bunch
or
of
having a black
treasure.
VP
The
is
hatch.
the
No
most
way.
important thing to
Not
shore
with
up
his
the voter to
ego.
get, you know,
Wherever Avery put the
black
treasure is
people
gonna
or
be the
women
most
more
elaborate
interested in
place
voting
we've
for,
seen
you know,
yet.
the party.
And it would
Is
be
there
well
noise gate
protected
fucking
too.
That
To
makes
call that
sense.
DEI doesn't make any sense unless
Noise gate's
unless you
fucking up.
thought this VP pick would get us way more votes, but I'm going to choose a black woman anyway. It doesn't, like, that would be an example to you, but I mean, I'm pretty sure the reason why they wanted a black person or why they wanted a woman, I think it was a woman. I don't know if he's a black woman, but the reason why they wanted a woman was
Zero
because
top
they wanted
frames.
to have more women basically voting for him as a candidate. Kamala failed her bar exam, LeMayo. I think she failed her first pass, but so she was the DA and then the state attorney general for like 8 years. I don't know what the point of that is. Kamala Harris was an attorney general who prosecuted people in court, and Donald Trump is convicted of like 33 felonies so far. I don't know what the comparison is there. Amy Klobuchar was objectively a way better VP pick.
Test.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. It should be a combination of who will help you get elected and who's the most qualified for the job, no? It's the vice
Test.
president. The vice president doesn't really
I guess we'll
have
just
really
look at it
explicit
in
jobs or roles
post.
to do.
Test stream. Test. Oops, see, that was weird. Testing.
Sanders at West Lebanon.
Maybe I should
Harris
just
is not going
change
to win this
my
election, and she is going to have a very difficult time winning
buffer.
unless she begins to speak forcefully about the needs of the long-neglected working class of this country. The quote tweets and the replies were just full of thousands of people calling him sexist for this. Bernie's absolutely correct, though. Kamala has been so focused on getting like the
I could care less about right or left. I don't idolize
Let's
anyone,
see,
but I'd love
let's
to know
see.
if we looked at the use of the word Nazi on social media streaming services for the last 15 years or
buffering
more.
clock.
What word would you put up against it that the right used against the left as much? What? Commie or communist? What are you talking about? I don't know if you're 20 years old, but I grew up every single day. Rush Limbaugh, Commie Florida, the communists, the Chi-Coms, Red China, the Chinese, the communists, Obama the communist, Obama is a commie. Like, what do you mean? Every single fucking day you were inundated with this. If you were conservative across talk radio and Fox News, you heard it all the time. What are you
Okay,
talking
maybe a
about?
little better.
TikTok vote with her little like Brad
Maybe
Summers
zero
thing. I
better?
don't know what the Brad is. I'm old, but someone has to remind Kamala Harris that she's running for president of the United States, not president.
Maybe I should change to CPU usage instead of GPU usage.
Broke Zoom. But when I want to have a whites-only meeting, I'm called a racist. Wow.
As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking...
That is, I'm old, but someone has to remind Kamala Harris that she's running for president of the United States, not president of the gays and women. White Women for Harris meeting raised millions. Broke Zoom. But when I want to have a whites-only meeting, I'm called a racist. Wow.
As white women, we need to use our privilege to make positive changes. If you find yourself talking over or speaking for BIPOC individuals, or God forbid,
Gameplay
correcting
looks
them,
good.
just take a beat. And instead, we can put our listening ears on.
Oh no. Can Kamala Harris pull off a victory?
Please, wherever you are in society, it is your mission. If you're
And
destined
come
to
on,
Europe to do
should be
everything you
perfect.
can.
That's like literally a harpoon spot. Come on.
As a definition, as an acronym, as anything. Please, God, please, for the love of all that is good and holy.
Did I say harpoon?
You will be making the world a better place for everybody, including BIPOC individuals. Please, God, get rid of BIPOC. It is the cringiest, most disgusting fucking abbreviation. Everything about it is stupid and disgusting. Please stop. My God, please fucking stop.
Hope I changed
Three top
my
strategists lay out how. How do you run a 3-month campaign in an era when presidential campaigns have become years-long
Game
affairs?
title
We
not
gathered
to
3
say
top
June.
campaign managers to ask just that. We spoke with Patty Solis Doyle,
does not
who
look
ran
like,
Hillary Clinton's
fun.
2008 presidential primary campaign, Robbie Mook, who ran Clinton's 2016 general election campaign. Hi, Hillary Clinton team? Yeah, I need advice on how to win. What?
To
Do you think
go
Hillary's
over
like
there.
seething? If there's any
You understand
old
Hillary,
lookout
like,
tower.
did win the popular vote,
Let's see if
right?
we can spot something from up
Might
there.
have lost the election.
Oh yeah?
It's not like this would be a completely out-of-bounds person, but I guess conservatives...
I got a better
would
idea.
voting for
Let's see if we can spot something up
reason
there.
to vote for Kamala, it's just to make Hillary extremely mad. It was supposed to be me! The Democrats are voting for a cop and the Republicans are voting for a felon. And one
Original
of the candidates
thought.
VP is a shoe-on-head fan. Wild timeline we're on, folks. It's silly season. I don't know who's
Okay,
gonna win.
up
All
we
I know
go.
is that this is a race between 2 very different candidates.
Do not come. Do not come.
Yeah?
Anyway, that was my little political video. I just wanted to cover everything that happened so we can like look back on this during World War III and see how easy we had it. So what are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to win? Not who do you want to win, who do you
turn
think
around.
is going to win? Big thank you to everyone who donates to me on Patreon. I appreciate your support so much. If you'd like
Okay, I don't know why I watched it. It's true. Waste of time.
No, not quite.
Posting again. Please don't ban. Why? This is
No.
so old. No more like
But I
Hey.
did stop these 2 young
We
folks
in
and asked
there.
them what they were doing in this neighborhood, which was a very interesting conversation ensued. So I asked
Oh,
them
I already know this meme's gonna be. Is this an old meme? Has somebody made a meme like this before?
if I could interview them. So get ready for a treat. We're going to talk, and we're going
Hello.
to keep it cool and honest. So let me turn this camera around and introduce these 2 young folks.
Sam, this way.
All right, hello.
Ooh. Maybe not.
But
Okay.
My goodness. Whoa. Define physics.
Destiny, there's another camera shot where she jumps a car.
I forget. Is it Q? Get this game in like weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. It was honestly a good faith question, but to be fair, I don't think if we compared the use amount
looks
of
promising.
Nazi versus commie, it would be even close though in the last 15 years, but I get your point. What do you mean even close? You're right, it actually wouldn't even be close. Way more
kind of
Republican
symbol.
huge media figures and politicians called Democrats commies than large mainstream Democrats ever called Republicans Nazis, right? I pointed this out on Peers, and you guys all do this. People say, oh,
Chevron,
you're upset
arrow.
because Donald Trump said that, you know, he wants to kill Americans. Well, what about when Pussy Sniffer 6969 on Facebook posted that he wants to beat up Trump and kill MAGA kids, right? How do you explain that? It's like, why are we comparing random fucks?
like a compass
Pierce did in
set.
the last show I was on, where he was like, this Olympic
Oh,
guy got
shit.
fired because he made a comment about like women putting on makeup as an Olympic comment. How retarded are
How did you know to do that?
But what about
there's
these
one thing I've
women that are
learned from
tweeting
you.
these things out about
That's
like
everything.
men? What do you mean? They're people on
Done
Twitter
that.
versus a fucking
Same
commentator,
symbol.
Pierce. Why the fuck are you comparing these two people? What do you mean? Like,
Whoa.
Let's go find out where
is
it's
calling someone a commie as bad as calling them a Nazi, though?
Come on.
I would say
Well, it's
that
right below
it's
us.
probably
Yep.
worse. The problem is that if you're not, the problem is that I don't know
Why don't you
if
use the rope and rappel down?
you have the background to
I mean,
understand why.
Yes, if you say
Nazis
so.
are the baddest of the bad, but they're very far away in time.
How do I do it?
Okay?
Oh, oh.
When my parents were in the
That's
Air Force,
definitely how you
my
do it.
parents were serving like during the Cold War, and the threat and the idea of
You
like
shut up.
nuclear holocaust, like, and how many movies were made, you know, the day after all these movies of like nuclear winter and the
How do I do
huge
this again?
like conflict between the Soviets and the Americans and American, you know, interference in elections in South America, like communism and the threat of communism, right, was like the biggest fucking fear that gripped the United States for like 4 or 5 decades after the end of
Chips.
World War II. It was a huge
Nope.
issue in everybody's mind. So like, you can call somebody
Chips how
like a
you
Nazi
die.
or whatever, sure, but like a commie, like a communist, like that was an actual real. Like if you watch the movie Oppenheimer, okay, here I can do pop culture references now. If you watch Oppenheimer, they weren't worried about Nazis in America. They were worried about commies in America. McCarthyism wasn't about trying to find Nazis in America. It was about finding commies. Yeah, it's nowadays because of the left, you know, all these young retarded fucking kids want to be commies or whatever.
W and S.
Commie has lost a lot of its
After
bite.
you
Today,
die,
Nazi's
it
worse
tells-
than being called a commie. But back when I was growing up, especially when parents in the Air
Okay.
Force, commie was like the #1 like thing that
I
you
get
would
it
call
now.
somebody if you were trying to discredit them or yeah. And also,
It's totally fine.
actually, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't give any concessions. I keep forgetting that conservatives shouldn't be treated like humans, okay? My bad. No, I will say
How's this
that being
looking?
called a commie is
Ivy?
worse than a Nazi even today if you are conservative, because I've been convinced by you guys making the argument year after year after year after year, the Nazis only killed, what, 12 or 13 million people in the Holocaust, right? How many people did the commies kill? 100 million. 100 million deaths to communism. 100 million deaths to communism. You guys have repeated that figure year after year after year after year, and now you're telling me being called a commie isn't a big deal? Fuck you. You can't have it both ways. So the one woman is a woman, even if she has XY chromosomes, because you guys say just to look at the vagina,
Hey,
you know, vagina is a woman, so that's true.
okay.
Women, you lose that argument now. And commie is worse than Nazi because you've spent the entirety of the last decade telling us that 100 million people died to communism. So they must be worse than Nazis. So it is a worse word. So fuck you. Okay? What do you want to say?
Before you go on to the next your next video, just keep this tweet in your back pocket, okay, when it comes to what Republicans say versus Democrats. Marjorie Taylor Greene, 3 weeks ago. I'm going to read you this tweet. She says, "We're in a battle between good and evil. Democrats are the party of pedophiles, murdering the innocent unborn. Violence and bloody, meaningless wars. They want to lock up your political opponents and terrorize innocent Americans who would tell the truth about it. The Democrat Party is flat out evil, and yesterday they tried to murder Donald Trump. You will never find, your chat will never find, a Democratic politician who says anything remotely comparable to that. Okay, so I think that's a good thing to have in your back pocket the next time you're on Peers. Okay?
Love you.
I see, buddy. Bye.
You know, it is a battle of good and evil. That is exactly what this is. And I feel it every time I go into Washington. Look at
that's our
the
color
views
space,
and the
so
policies of the left. This is the party that is literally trying to destroy God's creation. and tell children they can
Thank you, Hot Wheels 23.
be more than two genders, which is an absolute lie and a complete attack on God. The
There's a
Democrat
slide.
Party is the party of abortion, murdering
let's
the
just do the
innocent
slide.
unborn. The Democrat Party is the party
He
of
say to get the
violence,
boat?
just as
Maybe
Ben
he did.
stated. And just as we have witnessed for years now. Never forget it was Antifa and the radical left that nearly burned down Washington, D.C. on President Trump's inauguration night in 2017. And then they continued to riot for years. And then the horrific riots night after night in 2020 after George Floyd died from a drug overdose, by the way, as all of the reports have said and toxicology reports have said. The Democrat Party is the party of pedophiles. The Democrat Party is flat out evil. And the Democrat Party is the party of violence. The Democrat Party is the party that wants to lock up their political enemies and wants them to all die in prison. They put Steve Bannon in prison. Peter Navarro, thank God, is about to get out, and we look forward to seeing him at the RNC. They want to lock up President Trump for the rest of his life so he dies in jail. And they are locking up January 6th election protesters.
Follow these
still every
arrows, see where they
single
go.
day. And Ben, I'm glad you called it out, and I'm glad you said that prayer tonight on the air, because we do need to be a nation that returns to God in a mighty and powerful, faithful way, because it's God and God alone
This one's
that
supposed
can
to go
truly
over
save
this
us.
way? It says to go over this way?
Okay, I just want to finish watching some of this, just for my own personal. What a interesting speech.
What does it mean? What does it mean? What if I should have stopped there?
How long did Donald Trump speak on the?
Hey, look, another arrow over there.
Where? Where?
C-SPAN has ads. Is that allowed? Where does this money go to? Where the fuck is this money going to in the government?
Where's my
right now? I
arrow?
want to know what I just clicked on this ad for.
Freaking camera is
Big news. Brit just burned
totally
Sneaky
broken.
Bridge.
Ah, uh-huh. Oh yeah, this is
Okay, so he started at 3:30.
gonna save.
Say 3:31. NASL sound guy.
Secret cave, stairs. This looks promising.
I do believe we are done here.
$331.50. Okay, and he stops at.
Hmm.
442.
Yeah, we were lucky no one ever
Okay,
found
so
this
it's say about an
place.
hour and.
Whole thing
11
would be a
minutes, we
tourist
said?
attraction.
The hell do we get out of here?
Donald Trump spoke at the Ellipse for about an hour and 10 minutes. Starting at what time did he begin speaking?
What about this big pillar in the middle of the cave? That looks climbable.
Yeah, that could work.
Man,
Was it at 11? Was he supposed to?
I hate climbing pillars.
No way. Oh, maybe not.
Fuck is the I have to jump from the fucking boat.
Alright, 11:57. At about noon. We'll say 11:57.
Okay, okay.
It's a stupid fucking quote that everybody. The one quote. I know you'll be making. I know you'll be peaceful.
Come on.
Here we go.
You gotta admit, This is pretty cool.
This
What?
is so
Climbing
cool.
this cliff?
Yes, climbing this
All this-
cliff on a
all this
giant
bird
secret
Claims about
pirate
surge
island. I mean,
grinder
come on.
usage at
So cool.
RNC convention.
Right.
There's probably surge usage of every dating app.
Well,
every
I
time
think
there's
it's pretty
people
damn
going
cool.
in, I would imagine. It's because you get more people showing up there, right?
So
Just a
cool.
little higher. We can swing off that branch.
If something's gonna happen though. Cool.
Okay. Donald Trump repeats a few things. Diligently
All right. Back in business.
counts
Okay, hold on.
every
Just gotta not call to my dad over here.
voter
Oh, oh.
fraud. Accusation, I should say.
Yeah.
Voter/election fraud.
Page. The fuck? Broken graphic? Or the parrots just like bunched up?
Wow, Avery wasn't much for subtlety or understatement, was he?
Well, he had the money. You got it, flown it, right? So, does this
How did he build all
qualify
this
as the
in
most
secret
elaborate
again?
place we've seen yet?
It's
Not
up there.
possible. Always possible.
Come on, let's get a closer look.
Times, Pence was the only person who can say
I know this was here.
Republicans. Oh, there's another one.
Ooh.
Constantly reminds those in Congress who help run for election they would lose their primaries, or that they would lose their elections. 2023 elections. Okay.
Feeling we're gonna have some visitors. Have this feeling.
Notable speech. Has some notable quotes. Okay.
Oh, look. The main entrance is blocked by debris. Again.
Well, I guess Avery's builders clearly didn't take hundreds of years of erosion into account.
Clearly.
Gonna need to find another way around.
Okay. The riot at the Capitol. The event was set to begin. Wait, real quick. The speech at 9 a.m. and it ended at, with Trump leaving at.
Go up,
12:16.
go down. Where'd we come from? Three.
Okay.
Tell me what to do.
This. Let's do a little bit more of this.
Protesters there scaling the very walls of the Capitol, scaling the scaffolding that once was erected to for the inauguration on January 20th. And yes, we're seeing images here that will go down in history. This is a major moment in America. Whether it will come to anything or not, I guess we'll have to just wait and see, and we'll continue to bring you updates as we get them. Again, two of the Capitol buildings were evacuated earlier because of apparently the threat of a pipe bomb that has been withdrawn. Those buildings no longer have that stand-down order issued, or that evacuation order rather issued. But it seems like the residential buildings around
Hint.
Capitol Hill are being evacuated.
Please,
and the
lift the
Senate taking part in
debris
the-
to
I feel like I should
continue.
have been writing quotes down from this.
Clearly.
Debate or the certification of votes. Here we see a protester holding a riot
Oh,
shield.
Jesus.
Probably got from a police officer. Windows being broken, and tentatively,
Really?
Patriots moving into the Capitol building. This is incredible, folks.
Debris are you
They are
talking
using
about,
the
Willis?
riot shield to bash through the windows of the Capitol using large pieces of wood that were no doubt there for the scaffolding. And yeah, we're seeing Patriots move in. They've surrounded the Capitol building. They've broken through the barriers. They're now breaking the windows and
secret.
making their way into the Capitol building from the DC police, from the
Hey, Sam.
now,
Come
my
on,
God,
give
now
me a
the
hand with
protesters
this.
have gotten
Yeah,
their hands
sure.
on fire extinguishers and are spraying them at the people, the congressional staffers and members of the media who are able to film them. They're getting a face full of fire extinguisher gas as we continue to radio.
Come on through.
Over the radio from the U.S. Capitol Police, we have lost control. Control.
Sure thing.
Control now ceded to the Patriots who have breached the Capitol and are
Lots of
moving
lifting
ever
and crawling
more,
under things, huh?
ever farther into this Capitol building.
glamorous life
as
of a
pioneers,
treasure
people
hunter.
carrying riot shields that have been stripped from the Capital City Police, MAGA hats, Confederate flags, American flags, Gadsden flags. Again, mostly peaceful, I have to say. I haven't seen any attacks. I haven't seen any vicious lashing out at innocent people. I've seen nothing but tearing down of barriers, the breaking of windows, and the moving ever forward inexorably towards the heart of the Republic, the Capitol building, which has long been under the occupation of globalist forces. This is truly incredible stuff, folks, and we'll bring you up-to-date updates as we get them. Stay with us.
The heart of the Republic.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just received reports of shooting going on. This is absolutely incredible, folks. The revolution will be televised exclusively on Infowars.
The revolution.
Elijah Schaffer is now inside Nancy Pelosi's office.
Okay, I think we're gonna call it there.